Welcome back to the Toronto Global Forum 2019. I'm Vince Amadeo with Global Public Affairs, joined now by Matthew Nordgren, the CEO of Acadian Fund. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Always glad to be in Toronto. It's been a pretty often occurrence, I would say, in the last few years, given the markets here. Just love Toronto.
Great. I mean, you mentioned the market here. From your perspective, what have you seen in terms of market response and opportunity, with the legalization of cannabis, and I mean edibles coming down the pipe next month, and what's kind of the market response been to the Canadian legalization process?
Well, we're all thankful for what Canada's done. Really, it's given birth to the industry from a worldwide perspective. Without the institutional markets here and the bankers and everybody stepping in, we wouldn't know what the possibility is. Now we're in a situation since November, where you've seen a bit of a pullback in terms of valuation on some of these retail cultivation, manufacturing type assets, and that's just a bit of a valuation correction. It's natural. You've seen a lot of equity in the markets. I think going forward, you're going to see a lot of debt and credit. Which is a good thing, by the way. Cheaper cost of capital, non-dilutive. I think the markets are going to respond very well to it. I think you'll see all the top, largest players take on those types of facilities, which is healthy. And so now with Canada opening up the consumer category a little bit, I think it's going to get another great response because of the fact revenues are going to continue to increase. I can give you an example. One of our companies is a packaging bottling company. Over the years, we have not had a lot of opportunity to sell here because we just didn't have a lot of SKUs. Versus in a market like Las Vegas, it's just a city, but we have tons of SKUs to sell. So similar population, lots more SKUs. So I think this is going to be a big boost for Canada's markets from a revenue standpoint. I think the debt and credit is going to be very helpful and seen favorably by the market. And I think that's going to all help transition into the U.S. markets, which is a little bit different strategy.
Sure. I mean, bringing back to the Canadian context, what from a policy or regulatory perspective would you like to see to kind of help encourage investment in this space and encourage the continued growth of a really new industry?
Well, I for one like the fact that you have people like Health Canada involved in the process early on. It makes it a little bit slower, but ultimately when all things are open and said and done, I think you're going to have a more positive framework from throughout the entire supply chain to build a real business. So although you guys went legal, you kept it tight. I think what's going to be encouraging to the market is the fact that that framework has been built, and now all of a sudden it's going to be strong going into a much larger volume business. So in terms of what I see going forward, I think this is a very positive thing. I think the correction, if you want to call it that, is also a good thing. I think for businesses to know what the future is business means that they can have success. When you have an uncertain future, you don't know what you're building towards. So I think that all of this framework and all the work that's been done is just about to pay off. And up until now, it's largely been based on future revenue, future growth. I think that's going to actually start to be realized, which is healthy to have a framework in a regulated environment that's growing this fast.
Well, Matthew, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us here today. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the forum and your time here in Toronto.
We love Toronto.
Love having you here. Thank you.